take a look at the Innovative Security Manager. On the right side here, you can see it's an Android emulator, which is basically emulating our Android app. And you can see the results in a little while here at the same time as we go through the demo. On the left here, the different windows are the alarm queues or queue filters, and you can have as many of these filters as you want to. And in this example, I just at the top here, I have a master queue, which basically displays all the alarms and signals coming in. And here to demo the task flow, this queue contains the tasks that have been accepted by the personnel, the security personnel. And this filter contains the personnel on their way to a task. And this filter here displays the personnel when they have arrived at the task. And the final filter here at the bottom contains all the completed tasks, but that are still awaiting a final disposition by the operator at the operation center to close the alarms. Okay, so that's basically just to show you briefly how one task appears at the beginning of the master queue and then travels through all the different queue filters depending on the task phase or state, if you will. So you can create a task in different ways. We have scheduled tasks and we have unscheduled tasks. So I'm just gonna start here with an unscheduled task. So let's say, for instance, you have somebody calling in either by phone, mobile phone or a radio, and informing you that there's been a person has been injured at the Starbucks the Starbucks coffee shop. So what you would do here is you would open the alarm handling window and then create this new the task. Basically, when it's an unscheduled task, you have you can create different forms, incident reporting forms, to categorize all the different kinds of incidents that you want to categorize and group them and so on, in all the different incident fields that you require for each form. So we go here in this example, this is an example of an incident reporting form number 1, where you have all the operator now enters all the relevant information as was given to him by his colleague either by phone or radio, which is in this case, let's say it's we have an injury here. We select the injury, and it was at the Starbucks, so the operator can quickly search for the place star, and then click search. We have a Starbucks here. Double clicks, you get the name. You get also, importantly, you get the coordinates, because you could use these coordinates later to either call the closest guards, or for any color reference later on. You can add some comments, or if you need to have a meeting point address, I'll get back to that later. And some other description, all the kind of information you want here. And then we press, once the task is complete to be entered into the system and then activated, we press OK. And you'll notice that the task immediately appears as a new entry in the master queue. So the operator takes the alarm, he double clicks on it, and the alarm is transferred to the alarm handling window, and we get, where is this task or alarm located, and all the information about who did the reporting and so on. So the next step obviously would be, for once this task has been created, to assign the task to a given security guard or personnel. And we can open the manual dispatch screen here. And I can see an overview of the available guards and unavailable, what they're doing right now, and what shift and so on they're on here in the total overview. Over here on the left, I have the instructions for this particular instance, which is a personal injury. At the bottom here, we have these global templates, which basically are, shortcut buttons to, in this case, you would call the closest, a single closest guard to any some kind of incident. And here you would have the two closest, physically closest guards, and so on. You'll always have these buttons available, depending on or no matter what the task. But let's say I want to have assign this task to a guard. On the guard side, just to show you, on his Android device, he would log in. Log on with the username and password. In this case, a radio ID for you log on to the system, and now the system, the first time you log on, it downloads all the pertinent ID cards and the vehicle data, all this kind of information from the server. Right, now you have the overview here as a guard. At the top, any current tasks, which is currently empty because I'm not assigned to any tasks. Then you have some functions here, what kind of guard function you have. Currently, I'm on this function or work shift, GUL, which is yellow in Danish. And this is, my shift lasts from 6 o'clock this morning to 4 o'clock in the PM here. And you'll see this one here, the yellow one, is exactly the same, represented down here on the manual dispatch screen, the PS1, which is me. You can see here the PS1 and the PS1. And available, because I'm not assigned to any tasks right now, so obviously I appear as available in the dispatch screen. And you can also see I'm on the GUL work shift, and I'll be that till 4 o'clock this afternoon. So there you have it, and you can see all the coming shifts for me, and a lot of those shifts here waiting for me. But right now, you can see in the progress bar, I'm in the GUL. Now let's go back, and we have the alarm here. Personal injury in Starbucks, and I want to assign that to my phone here. So I simply click, in this case here manually, I select the guard I want to assign to this task, and simply press call, and you'll see right now it says new task here, injury, and where the task is located. I click accept. And you can see here at the top. Now the task, I have an injury task here, priority 1. I can click on the task to get some more information, where it is at and so on. You'll also notice here at the operators end, at the operation center, it'll be transferred into the this filter here, because I have accepted the task. So it moves into the accepted task filter, if you will. Okay. So the next thing I'll do here as a personnel, I'll click the pencil here and say, okay, I'm on my way. And then this task will move from accepted to on my way. This way, the operator now exactly knows who's on what task and what phase they're in. And it says here on the way. So I'm now moving on my way towards the Starbucks coffee shop. There's some different information about you can add to the task here as well. And then let's say 5 minutes later, I arrived at the Starbucks. I simply click the pencil again and record arrived, and you'll notice here, my task will now appear in the arrived at the task site. Okay. Now I have arrived at the site. I want to take a picture of the injured person, so I simply scroll down. I want to add a log entry. I go to the plus sign here at the log. I type in some text, picture, and I want to take a photo with my camera. And well, since this being a virtual device, it just looks like this. Anyway, it's just, for the point. I have a picture here, I save it, and you can see now here the picture is immediately transferred up to the database, and you can the operator at the operations center can see now. Oh, there's a comment here. There's been added a picture. We can open that, and you'll notice here in the alarm handling at the top left corner, there's now a camera icon, which means that this task now has an attachment, one or more attachments. In this case, it would be the photo that the security guard submitted for the task. And you can have different photos here and documents and so on. Okay, so I sent a photo. Now I want to report that the task has been completed. So I simply click the pencil here and I click free or available, and my task now moves from the task to the awaiting disposition at the operations center. At the same time, I get the feedback here on my app that the task has been completed, and I simply go back to my previous view of currently I don't have any tasks, and I can see an overview of my current functions and my future functions. Now, back at the operations center, the operator would double click on this here. Maybe go through it again, looking at some of the pictures, maybe opening the alarm log to see exactly what happened and at what time. And I can see here when the alarm was generated, injury, and the operator, and it was assigned to this device and accepted at this time. He reported en route, he reported arrived, he entered a text in the queue, and the guard closed the task as being completed. All this information obviously is very detailed, and you can extract that information later in Excel and whatever, or some other kind of reporting. I'll show you that later. So that was basically it, and once it's ready to be disposed, we'll simply select the disposition code and any kind of information relevant for this task, and it's now been removed from the queues and has now resides in the log. So that's basically how you would handle an unscheduled task from the operations center and assign it to a security guard. Let's look at a case where a security guard discovers or observes something that he believes should be reported back to the operations center. In that case, he would simply open his overview here, click on the add task, and then you have a listing of some of the predefined tasks. In this case, it could be structural damage, or perimeter fence damage, or a person appearing aggressive or violently, or maybe intoxicated, and so on. And he simply clicks the relevant task, and he completes all the fields, which you can customize with the name of the reporting party and the phone number, any a colleague's ID card he can scan, and so on. Simply create this task, and you can see with the gray bars means that the mobile device is communicating with the server to upload that information. And once that has been uploaded, The task will then appear in the master queue at the Operations Center. And the operator simply takes the task here from the queue and is ready to handle the the task as a normal. Obviously, you can also add files, images and documents or whatever from the security guard, and then send it to the Operations Center, and it will appear like we saw before. That's basically that's it. That's how a security guard would create a task in the field and then return it to the Operations Center, and everything is logged. We can see here again, we open the alarm log, and you can see all the information. It was reported today here at 1:17. There's a structural damage and all the relevant fields here with the personnel, person info, description, and so on. Everything is logged. You can have different kinds of tasks, more serious tasks or incidents. For instance, an aircraft suffered a bird strike. You can search then for a runway where it's scheduled to land, the longitude and the latitude for that. Do we need any external resources such as an ambulance or anything from outside? You can generate a meeting point. And then all the supplemental information about the ETA or the reason for the standby bird strike. A lot of this information. You can press the initial dispatch, and then the task is in the queue, and then you can add and update the task, the supplemental information. Maybe determine later the amount of fuel and how many people on board. And then you can continuously update this task with the aircraft type and so on. And once you're done, you press OK, and then the screen is updated. And the main advantage is that you can have multiple operators operating on the same task. So you can add the resources as you please. You can also have automatic instructions, which then are triggered to inform other personnel, and then the description of instructions here. You can attach photos or documents or whatever to the task. Those are the main two unscheduled tasks, how you create those in the Innovative Security Manager. Another way of making a task are these predefined tasks with some more detail than other tasks. Once you have the task here, you can also have it displayed on the map. The advantage is that they can see the task, and the square is the main access point for any external vehicles, for instance, fire vehicles or ambulances. So you have both. These are the global task templates where you create a new instance. So on these, the main advantage is you can schedule them in the future. These are scheduled tasks which are gonna happen sometime in the future. Or they could also be that they happen right here now, so you can create them as well. But for instance, if we knew this is gonna happen at 12 noon, do you want to enter a notification, such as 15 minutes before the task? Or a 0 if you don't want any notification. The duration is about 30 minutes in this case. And you can provide a comment. A VIP is arriving. And again, you can have some predefined fields you can then complete with the various information. You can also have this pre-completed, pre-filled out. For instance, gate number. You can search for the gates, and because then you also get the latitude and longitude. So you can, for instance, you could have a rule that says that the person closest to this point should be called on the task. Again, a lot of information you can provide here. It's totally customizable. So we say OK. Now, if you notice, nothing happens in the alarm queue right now because we've set the task not to happen until 12 o'clock noon. So instead, we open the scheduled task overview, and here you can see the VIP task has been created. It's in queue, and it's scheduled to be in effect at 12 noon. There's a 0 notification here, so now you can right-click and edit the task if you want to, and then, for instance, change the 0 notification to 15 minutes notification. So now we have 15 minutes notification. Let's say the VIP then, so turns out he arrives earlier than scheduled. You simply edit the task again, change the various information, and you can then activate the task right now. And you'll see it disappeared from the scheduled tasks, and it's immediately transferred to the alarm queue. And then we can open the task, and then you can handle the task as normal. Yet another way of creating a task is by using the map. You see the tasks that we did before. We provided an address, latitude and longitude predefined. But let's say that a vehicle runs into or hits a building here on the corner. We can now insert the coordinate point on the map, directly on the map. Then we have the latitude and longitude. Then we create a new task. But instead of searching for coordinates, you simply copy the information from the map, and then I type in myself a description of the place, and we have the latitude and longitude and all the supplemental information if I need anything. Press OK. Now the task then appears now again in the alarm queue. Open it, and you can have it shown on the map exactly where at the airport the task is located. Let's go back to the scheduled task overview here. You have the patrol tasks and perimeter inspection and so on. And these are all the tasks that are all scheduled, recurrent tasks, running at a fixed interval, every 6 hours or whatever, every day. You do this by adding a calendar to the task template. We have the task template here, patrol for instance, and then add the calendars, and you can see here at 6 in the morning and 8 o'clock in the evening, every day of the week. And then you can see how the expanded result looks like, scheduled for 6 and 8 o'clock in the evening, every day. Now, in many cases, customers would like some kind of random factor in there. So you can add a random factor, the X number of minutes, so the task will not be generated at exactly the same time every day. For instance, you could add a random task at 60 minutes, So, for instance, it's either between 6 and 7 in the morning or 8 and 9 in the evening. Click OK and then save it. And we go back to the scheduled task overview and refresh that. And you'll notice that the tasks, the begin time of the tasks have now changed. One has added a minute, and another task added 59 minutes. And that way you can see how all the begin times have ran using the random factor now. Also in the scheduled task overview, you can also simply select a specific time range. You want to see the scheduled task within a certain time frame. It's very easy to do. For instance, today, there's one task scheduled with this in the demo system. Now let's take a look at the routes. You can see here there's a route here. It's 0 out of 8 route points have been completed so far. And you can also have the route shown on the map, so you can see the route points. These are the red dots, and the vehicle is the green arrow. Now you can begin. You can see the vehicle now. He begins moving, and every time he comes to a route point unvisited, it now turns green as it has been visited now, and it shows here 1 out of 8 route points. This way you can track the progress, obviously, of the perimeter inspection, whatever. You can also double click here and you can see for the vehicle on the route itself exactly the time and date for when the point was visited, and every time he passes by the point it turns green and it's time stamped. Everything is logged. Well, let's say if the vehicle, the driver, he's unable to complete the route, he can then temporarily suspend it and then come back to complete the route at a later point in time. Another thing you do is show the track history of the vehicle. So you simply right click on the vehicle and show track history. And then you put in the time range for the track that you want to see the history. You can go back 2 hours. So we type into the time here. You can now see the track history clearly displayed where the vehicle has been. Let's see, we also have something called a geofence. So, which means that in case the geofence is breached, that we can get an alarm. In this case now, there's an alarm. The geofence has been breached, and we open the map, we can see here the person is outside the geofence now. And if we return the person to within the geofence, the alarm is restored and the person is once again back inside the legal geofence. We also have a function called quotas, which can check whether a condition at a certain time is true or not. This way you can, for instance, let's say you have a mandatory task about checking ID cards, a certain number of ID cards a day. This feature then can check whether or not the sufficient ID cards have been checked or not, and then generate an alarm, for instance, in the queue if the requested quota has not been reached. For instance, this way you can divide the quota report, if you will, into areas of the days. Let's say you have a task requiring your personnel to scan X number of cards every 24 hours. In this case, you can split up the quota report so you would like to have different time ranges where you can have a required amount of ID cans to vary. So you have requiring more ID cards to be scanned during daytime than at nighttime, for instance. And then you can also more quickly see whether or not your scanned ID quota is on track or not, whether it's below or higher than the required amount. And you can see in the alarm queue there's been an alarm generated by the quota report. And that's the big advantage of this quota feature. You can determine what happens if the condition is true or what happens if it's not true. In this case, we have a condition saying, what if the quota is not completed? Then I want to have an alarm generated. And then you have an instruction that could be, for instance, that could be sending out a message or an email to all the personnel saying that you have to scan more ID cards. And just to show you how everything is logged, if we go back to the bird strike incident, we can see how all the events on this incident has been logged from the bottom with the standby when it was received and created, and we've sent emails and everything. All the persons that have been in contact with this incident have been logged, and all the event codes and the timestamps and everything is there, which can then later on very easily be extracted from the system or exported as Microsoft Excel, whatever. Now, many tasks typically have some kind of standard operating procedure or checklist to follow. In this case here with Innovative Security Manager, you can attach basically any kind of file to a task. That could be an SOP or an image or a floor plan drawing, whatever you want. So what I'm going to show you here is you can edit an existing task template here. Simply go in on the PC. In this case, we're just going to attach an image just to show you how it works, and then that could be a PDF file or a Word file or whatever you want to attach. Click OK, and then we save the task template now with the attached files. And just to show you how that's going to look, we're going to refresh the scheduled task overview here. And then we're going to activate this specific task. You can see the file here at the bottom on the list, and then we're just going to delete the time, so it's going to be activated right now. What's going to happen now is you're going to see it now in the alarm queue. We take it down, and you can see at the top left corner there's an icon of a camera, which indicates that this task does come with some kind of attachment, either as an image or a PDF file. Also in the log, everything is saved in the log as well as the image. Just to show you some of the advanced functions here, these are instruction templates, which again contain filters, and the filters determine who are called on a specific task. You see the dark blue border at the top, the filter here, means that in this case we need a gatekeeper for gate A something, A1, A40, whatever, and the status has to be 2. This information is provided by the incident fields in the incident reporting forms. So if we open this filter, we can see the expression of how that filter is built. This filter states that if in my stand field says A and another incident field called security level is equal to 2, then this filter is true. And you can have all kinds of filters, advanced kinds of expressions. Another filter example here could be gate C. All kinds of C gates except for gate C10, because I want to do something different in the case of gate C10, for instance. And this way you can create very advanced expressions for all the conditions you basically want for your filters. So maybe in your instruction you have 20 or 30 filters, but only one filter will be applied for the incoming task. Okay, let's take a look at the reports. Go here on the left in the menu under our reports. We have all different kinds of reports you can generate in the system and extract data that way. This window here is the report queue, which basically displays all the reports that are currently being generated or are in the queue being used by some of the operators. Just to give you an example, if we try to generate let's generate a report from the customer that we had before. You can put in all kinds of parameters, and you can restrict the period of the report as well. And go here. And you can see now here the report is being generated at the moment. When they're black and white, that means that the report is being generated, extracting data, and so on. By default, you open the report as a PDF, but naturally you can save it in all kinds of formats, which I'll show you in just a little while here. So now it's in color. That means the report is ready to be read. So we simply double click to view it as a PDF. And you can you have all the information here for the incident that we had before, that we use as a task example, plus some additional information. That's one way. And you can also simply right click, save as, or have it open it directly in Microsoft Excel. For instance, if you wanna, if you need to use the numbers in other ways, you have all the information here, right, for your numbering purposes. That's basically it about the reports. And once you're finished with the report, you've saved it or so on, and you can delete it. And naturally, you can also automatically generate reports at specific hours of the day and have them automatically sent as an email attachment to one or more recipients. Totally automatic.